Hi Songbird, Kerri here from theSongbbirdTree.com, and I'm just so, really excited to be able to hang out with you like this in another tea time together. Today, I am having what is called, and I kid you not, I don't know if you can see that, but it's called Buddha's Tears. It's just a fancy, creative way of saying teeny tiny jasmine tea balls. See that? It's just like so small, right? But it's jasmine tea in little balls. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a few of these into my cup. Okay, so they're just little balls, right? And I'm going to pour the water, and you are going to see it magically turn into something a little different, okay? So see that? There's balls of jasmine tea, or Buddha's tears, whatever. I'll show you in a minute what actually comes of that tea. Anyway, I hope you have your hot beverage as well, or if you're so lucky to be in a part of the world where it's actually summer and it's hot, well, good for you. I hope you have your ice cold, wonderful drink as well. Whatever you've got, cheers, and let's have a tea time together. Today I wanted to talk to you about a subject that's really, really close to my heart. Something that I have been thinking about for a very, very long time. And in fact, because this subject is so dear to my heart, I'm actually working on a really, really exciting and special project, which I'm not going to tell you about yet. I'm going to leave that to the end. So do make sure you watch till the very end of the video. I really can't wait to share with you just a very, very special and meaningful project that I started this year, and that I can't wait to tell you about, and I can't wait to invite you to be a part of. So make sure to watch to the end of the video for that. But right now, I want to, just sort of share some thoughts about this concept of freedom, and specifically how singing contributes to at least for myself personally, to me feeling, so free. And I just want to tell you a story. See, when I was a kid, right, I was like probably 5 years old. I don't think I was any older than 5. And I remember this so vividly because I can remember how I felt. And I can remember the image of me doing this thing that I'm about to tell you. So I was in the lounge room. I'm 5 years old. And I'm twirling around and around and around. I remember just having my arms out. I was like spinning around and around and around. And I was singing something. I don't know what I was singing, can't remember, but I was singing a song at the top of my lungs, and I was twirling around like a crazy person. And I was just having the time of my life. I remember I actually, as I think back, as I'm telling you this story, I can actually feel the sense of freedom that I had. It was like, yay, just like twirling around singing at the top of my lungs. And then suddenly the unthinkable happened. Somehow, well, actually, it's, quite easy for me to do something like this because I'm super duper clumsy. But I must have tripped over my own feet or something, and I fell really hard onto the corner of my coffee table, right there on my eye. And to this day, I remember just how painful that was, and I just started screaming, "Mommy!" and crying my eyes out. And I remember at that point, Mum rushing into the room, and she basically, she was mad at me. She was like, "Don't you ever do that again. Like, what were you thinking, spinning around the room like that? Of course you're going to fall and you're going to hurt yourself." So she basically, forbade me to ever do that again. She was like, "I don't want to ever see you twirling around and singing like that again." And, good intentions, Mum, like she just didn't want me to get hurt, right? And, I was always a very obedient child. So I actually obeyed her. And to this day, I cannot remember if I ever did that again. And I don't think I did. I only have one memory of me twirling around, being a silly person, singing at the top of my lungs. Now, I remember that vividly because of the freedom I felt. Like, seriously, I remember feeling like, oh my goodness, this is so much fun. And this sense of my heart is fully open, and this sense of, joy and flourishing. But then, of course, I fell over and hurt myself. And the only other thing in my life, and there are other things in my life too that give me a sense of freedom, don't get me wrong, but I can't think of anything else that gives me a sense of freedom as much as singing does. And Songbird, I'm sure you relate to this feeling. You're a singer, you know how it feels when you sing and it's like time stands still. Or it's like your heart, it just like opens up. It's like no matter how you were feeling beforehand, you could have been really sad, you could have been really bored, you could have been really mad. But singing somehow helps you to just breathe again, and the heart opens up. And there's this sense of being able to really express yourself and to be who you were created to be. That really gives that sense of freedom. And I think that's why singing makes you and it makes me feel so completely free, because there's just something about singing that expresses things that are deep down in your heart that you just can't express with words alone or with any other way, with writing or with a presentation, or I don't know. It's just something that music and melody and lyrics together meshed into one. And when you actually do it and sing out of it from your own mouth and it's flowing from your heart, there's just this sense of freedom. Hey, yeah. Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Anyway, so, there's just nothing else I can think of in life that has given me that same sense of freedom as when I was twirling around when I was 5 years old, singing at the top of my lungs, right? Now, just like when I was little and I've tripped over and I actually hurt myself, Mum was like, don't you ever do that again. So then from that point on, I stopped doing that. Now, sometimes I wonder whether we let ourselves, retreat from the thing that makes us feel most free because of the fear of falling over and hurting ourselves. So, just like my mum was like, don't you ever do that again. And, she just didn't want me to hurt myself. She didn't want me to what if I was, God forbid, to do it again and then actually fall in a worse way, like poke my eyes out or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there was a fear there, right? And I know in my life, apart from when I was twirling around the lounge room, like a silly little girl, there are other times in my life where, I knew that, there's this thing that I wanted to pursue, and I knew that thing was right for me to pursue, and that if I pursued this thing, ultimately, even if it was going to be difficult or whatever, it was going to really set me free. So one of those things is when I quit my corporate job, I'm not sure if I've told you this before, but I used to be a corporate chick. But then in 2004, I upped and quit my job, and I decided that music was what I wanted to pursue. That's another story for another day, I think. Very long story. Anyway, now that was difficult, but I knew that there was this, like, if I did this was going to really, bring freedom to my life in a whole new way. Now, there were lots of things that would come up in my head, and not just then, but even now and even today, as I keep on pursuing what I feel called to do, that really makes me feel like, oh my goodness, what if I do fall over and hit myself again? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's the fear of rejection. Like, what if people think I'm absolutely insane? What if people say they just like laugh at me, they think I'm an idiot, and they make me feel really small, So there's that fear of rejection, fear of what other people will think of me, which can stop me from doing and pursuing the thing that I know is really going to set me free. There's also sometimes the fear of failure. Like, what if I stuff this up? What if it doesn't work? So for me, when I quit the corporate world, it was like, I already had a really safe and secure and cushy job that I was doing really well in. And if I kept doing that, I could be, just continue to climb the corporate ladder and get paid a really, really fat paycheck and just be comfortable and cruise along in life, you know what I mean? And be able to buy all the nice things and that sort of thing, right? Now, there was that, and there's this fear that what if I give, am I giving that all up, and is it worth it? What if I fail dismally? What if this music thing doesn't work, and I end up lying in a gutter? That's a bit extreme, but that's basically what my parents were afraid of. They were afraid I'd end up homeless on the streets or something, and there's that fear for sure. I had that in my head as well, So sometimes it's a fear of failure that stops us from truly pursuing, what we know is going to set us free. Sometimes, funnily enough, and this might sound surprising, sometimes it's a fear of success. It's like, okay, what if it does work and I do make something out of this thing, and then my friends can't relate to me anymore, and I lose my friends, or people don't see me the same way anymore, or my life is going to change so much, and am I ready for that change? Because I'm pretty comfortable right now, even though it's not, I'm not living life fully to the max, but I'm kind of comfortable right now, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be ready for like what success could bring me. And then again, because of that fear of success, we actually stop ourselves again from pursuing that thing which we know is going to set us free. Now, you know what? Freedom is obviously a universal need. I think as humans, we all, we feel this sense that we need to be free. Well, if we don't feel free, at least we definitely feel it. We're not happy. We don't experience joy. We feel like we're stifled. We feel like we're trapped. We feel like we can't express ourselves fully. That sort of thing. And there's just this. It's almost like we're settling for something, and something missing, something is wrong. So there's definitely, I think, a universal, and I'm sure you agree with me, Songbird, that freedom is just such an important thing, and it's a privilege, And a lot of us, we live in places where we do actually have a lot of freedom, and so it's well, I know I am, I live in Australia. Australia is the land of freedom, and really, really, really privileged in that, and this brings me to the project that I wanted to tell you about, So, in terms of what I was just talking about there about freedom, I really want to encourage you. What is that thing that makes you feel free? Like, what is that thing? It doesn't mean that you need to quit your job and pursue it full time, but what is that thing? Maybe it just means that you just spend 5 minutes a week doing that thing. I don't know, but do it because it sets you free. And when you're free, you show up as a fully flourishing human being in the world, and that is going to bless the people around you. I kid you not. Okay. All right. So now that was my encouragement to you and my challenge. And now to the wonderful and exciting and meaningful project that I want to tell you about. So this whole thing of freedom, it means so much to me. There's just something about not feeling free that makes me feel like something is absolutely amiss. And so I've always had for the last 5 years, I've had a really big burden for this whole injustice that's going on in the world of human trafficking and sexual slavery. People who, not only they actually have their basic right of freedom violated, and not only that, but they're getting abused and anyway, it's just horrific, where people are getting conned into going to certain countries and being promised that they are going to get wonderful jobs that will pay them well so that they can support their family. So a lot of people find themselves in this situation because of poverty. And they have hopes, and dreams. They think, cool, if I follow this guy who's promised me this amazing job as a hairdresser or a nurse or something, oh, my life's going to change. I'm going to be able to provide for my family. And so they go. But unbeknownst to them, it's actually a whole sham, and they end up getting forced into prostitution. And it's just horrible, these things, this phenomenon that is going around, all over the planet, everywhere. And so anyway, this social injustice has really tugged on my heartstrings. And I think it's because I really value human freedom. I feel like we all have a right to be free, And so the exciting thing is that, rather than just sitting back on my bottom and going, okay, oh, that's such a terrible thing, I decided that I would try to do something about it. And it's not because I'm noble or anything. It's not like that at all. In fact, it would be so much easier to not do anything. And to be honest, for a couple of years since finding about this issue, I actually didn't do anything. I was very paralyzed. It was just such a big burden on it was too burdensome and too dark and too, I just felt really paralyzed and I didn't do anything. But 3 years ago, I actually realized that I can do something, and I can do whatever it is with my own hands. Whatever I've got in my hands, I can do. Just do it, even if it feels teeny tiny, minute. And so I started 3 years ago. I got together my students and myself, and we put on a very little intimate concert, and we raised some money for A21. Who is an organization that does the amazing work of freeing slaves around the world. They do a whole lot more too, so, you got to check them out. And I realized at that point that, there is something that I could do. So, and I can rally other people. It's not just me on my own, And this year, I felt even more compelled to take that to the next level and to actually really even rally more people, all right? And so I rallied together a group of amazing individuals, my friends, excuse me, there are a couple, few friends and family as well. And we formed a little team, and we are doing a project called freetobeconcert.com. So you can go and check out all of those details on the link below. But what it is we are actually doing an awareness campaign about human trafficking via social media, and culminating in an amazing concert that will happen on Saturday, the 24th of October. And this concert is going to be live streamed. At least we hope. We're hoping that this will work, that we'll be able to live stream the concert all around the world, so you will be able to watch it, even if you're not in Melbourne, Australia. And this concert's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a celebration of freedom, of the fact that we have been called to be free, and we are called to be free to be who that we are called to be and who we are created to be, that we are all gifted and talented in different ways, and we all have something to contribute. And so it's going to be a celebration of that, and it's going to be a celebration through the arts. So we're going to have dance, we're going to have multimedia, we're going to have all sorts of music, from pop to rock to hip hop to opera. It's going to be amazing. And really, at the end of the day, we have a goal of raising $20,000 for A21, so that they can continue the amazing work that they are doing, and especially in Asia. So this is how you can help. I would love you to join us in the fight for freedom. And all it will take is for you to click down on the link below where I have got our social media links. And I just want you to like our Facebook page, and also to follow us on Instagram. And then as you actually see the posts and everything, if you could just help us to get the word out there by simply liking or sharing our posts, that is going to be amazing, So that's all I'm asking for, If this whole tea time together resonated with you, and freedom is important to you as an individual, I want to celebrate your freedom, and I want to encourage you towards your own freedom, and really taking a step towards being all that you were called to be. And if that resonates with you, and you want to also be able to do something, even if it's a teeny tiny thing, to support this cause and to fight for someone else's freedom, someone who is trapped in slavery, trapped in forced prostitution, where their basic right of freedom is being violated, then I encourage you to support the fight and, come alongside us, fight with us, just simply by going and following us on our social media, and helping us to get the word out there just by liking and sharing our posts. That would just be absolutely incredible, and it would just really, it would make my heart sing. All right. So thank you so much for spending this time together. It's been a bit longer than usual. I hope that's okay. So thank you for staying with me if you're still here at the end. Really appreciate you taking the time to spend with me like this every time we have a tea time together. I don't take it lightly. And I really, really, really do appreciate you, who you are, who you were created to be, and I appreciate the journey that we are on together. And let me show you what the tea looks like. Ta-da! So before, see, that's completely different to what it was, hey? Do you remember when it was just little balls of jasmine tea? Well, now, ta-da! Okay? Thank you so much again, Songbird. I can't wait to hang out with you again like this. And I can't wait to see you in our Free to Be concert Facebook and Instagram. It's going to be amazing. So check it all out, and can't wait to be able to journey with you together and to fight for freedom. All right, I'm always believing in you, Songbird. I'll see you again next time. Bye.